Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a great weekend so far. I hope you're all staying healthy, strong, and productive. Students, in this class, we are looking at IELTS reading, a Band 9 goal here, and tips for a passage from our academic IELTS on Hydrozoa. What is that? What's a Hydrozoa? Well, you're going to find out fairly soon here. This is a members chat class. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. To become a member of the channel, just click the join button next to the subscribe button. If you don't see that join now button or join button, you can send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I can help you out a bit more. There's some of our members coming into the class. Hi Paulo, hi Prawasha, Uche, good to see so many of you in the class. Students, while we wait for a few more members, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, check us out there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. Now, as far as the reading is concerned, the academic and the general are a bit different, except for reading section 3 in the general IELTS. Reading section 3 in the general IELTS is very, very similar to the academic IELTS. So if you want to get those high band scores like band 9 in the general IELTS, you can use the academic IELTS reading materials to master that challenging third section. Hi Jyoti, hi Prawasha. All right, students, again, it is the last day for our special discount code. I score 9. You can use this on our websites to save 25%. Let me show you what that looks like. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. You click that red button right there above my head to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. You use the coupon code I score 9, hit continue, and you've got a 25% discount, but that ends in 24 hours. So you've got about 24 hours and then that deal is done. For the general IELTS, it's the same idea. You click the red button and then you hit use coupon code I score 9. And again, you're off to the races. We are an official IELTS test registration center, and we are certified British Council agents, so you are in great hands with us. And of course, we have apps that link to the websites, the app Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. We'll link to the websites. Instagram, IELTS_AE Help, GIELTS Help. We've got loads of followers, free vocabulary, free videos. So check us out there. Students, today we've got this class, and then in about 90 minutes, we have a speaking part 3 where everybody will be able to join the chat. And we've got a couple days of no class, that's usual, and then we've got lots more live classes coming next week. So check that out. Hi Kelvin, hi Kyber, Tatiana, Mehmet. Nice to see so many students, members in the class. All right. Okay, Paulo says I had 7 in my reading in general IELTS. Wasn't expecting that. Paulo, do you mean like was it a good surprise or a bad surprise when you say I wasn't expecting that? I'm not sure if band 7 means that was a good surprise for you or a bad surprise. So I'm curious. Did you feel that? Because 7 is pretty good. So a lot of people would have trouble getting 7 in either the academic or general IELTS. So I think it's pretty good. So I think you should be proud of it, but I'm curious if that's what you expected or if it's less than what you expected. All right, students, let's get into it. So reading. Whoa, there we go. All right. Oh, what's that? Physalia, physalis, all these tricky words. Hydrozoa, physalia, physalis. It is a reading passage 3. And reading passage 3 is designed to be the most challenging in the reading section for the academic IELTS. Oh, Paulo says, no, I got 8.5. Well, 8.5 is amazing, Paulo. That means you only got a few answers wrong. Okay. Oh, Paulo says I had 7 texts in the general IELTS. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can have a lot of text. It's not going to be 3, Paulo. It's only 3 for the academic IELTS. For the general IELTS, it's 3 sections, but the first couple sections have anywhere from 4 to 5, 6 texts. It's the last one that's the longer one, like this one. Okay. All right. So here we've got, this passage, and this looks super challenging, and that's okay. The first step, the first tip is don't panic when you see a challenging passage. Okay. So tip 1, right at the top there, you can see me typing this. Tip 1, do not panic when you see a challenging passage. Instead, think smart and predict, especially if you have a picture. Okay, and here we have a picture. A picture. So here we've got this picture, and this picture, obviously it's this Physalia physalis. Don't worry about pronouncing tricky words like this when you're reading them. Nobody's listening to you. So if you're like Physalia, Physalish, or Physalia, Physalis, it doesn't matter. Nobody's marking you on whether or not you can pronounce this creature's Latin name. Okay. So don't stress about that. Just look at it and realize that, okay, this is a little creature here, a big creature, we don't know. But anyway, it's the name of this animal, obviously. And, we can predict that this passage is going to be about this animal. So when you look at this picture, right, and you're predicting, what is this animal? What do you think this animal is? So that would be my first question. So that would be my first inference. Okay. All right. And Paulo is, I keep looking at what Paulo's saying because it's interesting. Paulo says 6 were a piece of cake, but the last one was hard. That's for the general IELTS. Yeah, that's why Paulo, when people look at a passage like this one that we're doing today, sometimes people are like, oh, that looks way too hard. That's not going to be on my IELTS. Yes, it can be. Okay, absolutely it can be. All right, so Kyber says this is like a jellyfish. Okay, so the first question is, what is this, right? So we're predicting the passage. Kyber says, I think it's a jellyfish. It looks like a jellyfish. Yeah, and if you looked at the thumbnail today, you probably saw those jellyfish around me swimming around. Yeah, so that's what a jellyfish is. It's that translucent creature, usually round though, and usually in the water. This one seems to be kind of floating on top of the water, right? Paulo says it's dangerous. Why is it dangerous, Paulo? Okay, Q Lin says it lives in saline water or salt water. Yeah. So jellyfish lives in salt water. Can be dangerous. Why can it be dangerous? Tatiana says it can sting. Tina says with tentacles. Very good. Tentacles are those long pieces that you see right there, right there. Tentacles are those long pieces that are hanging down. Yeah. Amrinder says, I don't think it has any organs. Right. Tatiana, what does it sting you with? So Tatiana's saying it stings you. There we go. Miles says it's poisonous. Stings with tentacles, poisonous tentacles. All right, so let's say that as a full sentence, right? It's a jellyfish which lives in salt water and can be dangerous because it can sting with poisonous tentacles. All together, right? And Baljit says, I think it's carnivorous. So Baljit says, I think it eats other animals. All right. Okay, so now we're starting to get an idea of what we're going to be reading about. So as a next step, we take a look at, I think I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see it a bit better. Let me just check that. Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit more legible. Legible means it can be read. Okay, so yeah, that's a bit more legible. All right, so let's take a look at this. All right, we've got a bit of reading there in front of us. Here we can see that, okay, first questions, complete the sentences below. All right, this one, all of this information is somewhere in the text so we can read this, okay? So this is our next step here. So step 2, let me just kind of, step 2, look at the questions, read the questions which are a paraphrase of the passage, okay? So questions, not all of them, because not all questions are included in the passage, but many of them will be a paraphrase, meaning that it's the author writing kind of about the passage with questions in a different way. Complete the sentences, it's good, you can read that, okay? So let's do this together. And students, this is a reading class, so read with me, okay? All right, so read with me. Here we go. The Portuguese man-of-war's something acts as both a defense and attack mechanism. Nomius has a something to the man-of-war's attack. All these strange words, like what does Nomius mean? And what does this man-of-war mean? If you don't know it, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So a big part of reading in the academic IELTS and also in section 3 of the general is how well can you understand information, new information from context, okay? So keep this in mind. And this is, again, a big reason that you should not be panicking when you see something that doesn't make sense right away, okay? So keep this in mind. This is a huge tip here, okay? When you see new information in the academic reading section or in section 3 of general reading, take it easy. The IELTS is testing to see how well you can interpret and infer new information in context. Okay? Because they're looking for that band 8, that band 9 student. And for those of you who are planning to go to university using English, that's basically your university education, your university life is picking up new information, new language, new English, new ideas from context, okay? So it's testing for that. Is that clear? Kyber, a man-of-war is a warship, you're right, amongst other things. So is everybody clear on that? Can you give me a thumbs up or like a yes, got it? We'll be making some cool new emojis, members, for these kinds of yes, I got it types of situations. Does everybody understand that? So that's why you don't panic. That's where you're like, well, I've never learned this. I didn't take biology. Yeah, that's totally okay. Many native English speakers probably wouldn't be sitting down going, oh yeah, I know what a nomius is. Oh yeah, I know what a man-of-war is, right? So you understand it from context, okay? And help is there, so don't panic, all right? Now, let's do this. So let's get going. All right, now I see some thumbs up. Awesome, okay? So that's why you shouldn't be freaking out when you see these kinds of strange words, okay? All right, let's continue reading here. So Nomius is also a very competent something which helps keep it safe from the man-of-war, okay? So obviously I'm starting to feel like we're talking about two different creatures in this passage. One is the man-of-war, the other is this Nomius. Again, don't worry about pronunciation. here we go. Although they initially look like a jellyfish, the man-o-war is really something else. The role of the something is as a sexual organ. Okay, biology. Nomius's ability to live around the poisonous. Ooh, okay, so we're starting to think correctly here. There's going to be something about poison of the man-o-war is not fully understood. Okay, next questions. Complete the sentence with the correct ending, A to I. Number 33. So I only read this part, the question part, because all of these choices, they're not going to be used, and I don't want to read any information that might be confusing or useless. So I just read this part here. Okay, so here's again another tip for you. Okay, keep this in mind. So only read information in the questions that you know is in the passage. Okay, do not read false or irrelevant information, as this will simply be a waste of time and confusing. Okay, so no point in doing that. All right. So here we just read this. The relationship between the two creatures is best described as. What's another way to say relationship between two creatures? Members, if I want to say relationship between two creatures, what's another way to say that? So how can I say that in a different way? And hint, hint, think biology here. Some of you might know this. I think the word is kind of similar in a lot of other languages as well. So Arta says partners. Tatiana says symbiosis. Yeah, exactly. So check out what Tatiana's writing. Symbiosis or symbiosis, right? So when two creatures have some kind of a relationship, it's symbiosis. Mehmet says it's some kind of mutualist. Yeah, that's not bad. That's a type of symbiosis, Mehmet. So you're on the right track as well. Tina says it could be parasitic. Yeah, that's a type of symbiosis as well. Parasitic symbiosis or mutualist symbiosis. That's right, Tina. Very good. See, you've got a lot of good knowledge up there in the old noggin, right? We tend to collect quite a bit by the time we grow into adulthood. The brain is absolutely incredible. Okay, so symbiosis, right? Sim meaning to share, and bio meaning living, right? So it's a shared living interaction, a symbiosis, okay? All right, is best described as. Good, so keep your brain thinking, okay? Get lots of energy in you for the IELTS. Keep your brain thinking. All right, while the nomius is resistant to the venom, it is something. Okay, what does venom mean? We've seen another word that means venom. And here I'm showing you that when you're looking at these questions, you want to be thinking paraphrasing, right? Paraphrasing, okay? So, yeah, what does this mean? What does this mean, venom? Yeah, poison, very good. Jyoti, Tatiana, Uche, yeah, poison, right? So it's just another way to say poison. Okay, venom, poison, synonyms, sure. All right, the nomius's swimming patterns, something, yeah. For the nomius, man-o-war also serves as something, okay. All right, number 3738, we've got some multiple choice. Again, we're just reading the question because the answers, we don't know about them. So the nomius's main mechanism of defense is. What does nomius generally use to propel itself? And then we've got some yes, no, not given. We don't worry about the yes, no, not given because we don't know any information about them. They could be two not givens. If it's two not givens, there's no reason to read them. They're just going to be confusing. We'll deal with those at the end. Okay? All right. Ramesh, if you can't hear my voice, it's something on your end because I'm pretty sure everybody else hears my voice. So you got to check your set up. Check your volume, check your speakers, make sure you've got them right. Okay. Can everybody hear my voice okay? If you can't, let me know. All right, I'll get the mic a little bit closer in my face. But it seems to be okay. I don't see anybody complaining just yet too much. All right. Okay, so Apollo says audio is just great. All right. Kyber, it's super clear. Okay, that's reassuring, Kyber. Thank you. Yeah, I shouldn't be freezing today either. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. I've made some adjustments there. So, okay, let's read. Let's not get distracted. Let's stay focused. So we've got this jellyfish-looking creature. Okay, Physalia physalis. Let's read. Oh, before we start reading, I should be doing something very important here. So I should be applying a very important strategy as I'm reading. What is that strategy? What should I be doing here? So I'm about to read, and I want to apply a very important strategy. What is that strategy? Me says critical thinking. Arda says taking notes. Not really what I'm thinking about, actually, me, Arda. Paulo says visualization. Yes, absolutely. This is a very physical, this is a very tangible passage. Okay. So it's about a living creature. We can really visualize this. So I should be on the ocean. I should be a zoologist, an explorer, a biologist, a marine biologist, or maybe I'm the jellyfish. So whoop, 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 whoop. I'm swimming along, right? So I want to engage this reading, especially because it seems challenging. So the more I can engage this reading, the better the chance that I'm going to do really well, right? So visualizing is absolutely key, and this is passage 3. Don't forget, everyone. So you have already been likely doing 40 minutes of reading, and your brain might be getting tired, and you're kind of like, oh, whoa, whoa, jellyfish. So here you really have to go, okay, I gotta see these jellyfish. I gotta see what's going on here. I'm not just in this room doing this exam, but I'm out in the ocean, breathing that fresh ocean air and seeing this information. Okay. All right. Tina, don't highlight. Please don't highlight. Okay. No highlighting. All right. Highlighting is confusing, especially if you're highlighting the wrong information. That's a good one, Tina. I mean, you know, we don't talk about that much, but students say, oh, should I be circling or highlighting? We always tell students not in an actual exam. So let me make a quick note on that, okay? Because I think that's a good point to just take a second on. So tip, do not highlight information, and this isn't always, when you're doing exams, this is always true. So do not highlight information or circle information, underline information, during an exam, okay? Because it will break your flow of information. And it is distracting. You could be, and often this actually happens, just wasting time highlighting irrelevant information. Okay. Highlighting is useful for home study. And not during exams, okay? And I know people tend to do it, but it's not the right strategy, okay? It's just think logic here. So always think about the logical pattern of what your brain is doing, Okay, so when you're studying at home, sure, you're picking out what you think is key information, what you think might be on the test. So you're highlighting it, you're making notes, you realize, like it's the topic or the controlling idea of situations. So you're highlighting it, and that's at home, and that's, perfect. Then it's easier for your review and for your note taking. But during an actual live exam, it's not a good way to do it because it segments your thinking. It breaks it up into pieces. It can distract or draw your attention to irrelevant information, okay? All right. Yeah, Paulo, in the computer-based exam, it's not even really possible. So, yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. Laura says, I find it useful to highlight years and names. It could be, Laura, but again, it's arguable whether the benefit is not the same as the deficit, just kind of distracting you, okay? All right, good question. So visualization for sure, all right? We're visual creatures. We've got these beautiful eyeballs on the front of our heads. It's our primary sensory organ. We've got the back of our brain. It's all designed for visual information. So we want to use all of that goodness. And we're going to start doing that, and we're going to read. So this is reading. Students, read with me, okay? So read. Let's read together. Make sure you're reading with me. And then we'll talk about it as we finish paragraphs. Here we go, everyone. So 3, 2, 1. Physalia physalis, common name, Portuguese man-o-war, is a unique species of the class Hydrozoa. Several characteristics distinguish this species. The Physalia physalis is a free-floating communal polyp. Its powerful poison serves as defense and attack for the species. One type of fish, however, has developed a high level of immunity to this toxin. The Nomius granvi is capable of withstanding injections of Physalia venom 10 times the normal strength of that which kills other fishes. Due to this resistance to the venom and exceptional swimming, the two organisms have evolved to form a commensal relationship with one another. Even though we apply the term commensalism to the symbiosis between these two animals, the nature of interaction is not exactly fitting of the term. As defined by Campbell and Rees, commensalism is when one organism receives benefits while neither harming nor helping the other in any significant way. By looking closely at the behavior, physiology, and symbiosis between Physalia physalis and Nomius granvi, we find out the reason for this misleading terminology. Okay, so I see myself as a jellyfish-like creature hanging out with a fish, and I'm trying to understand my relationship with it. Do I like it? Hug it? Or do I attack it and squeeze it to death? Okay. So that's what I see. I don't know what you see, but that's kind of what I see. I am that jellyfish, okay? I am that communal polyp, as I read. It's not actually jellyfish. It's a communal polyp, okay? What do you see? So did anybody else see something similar? Kyber, Paulo, Tina, Tatiana, Amrinder, Mal, if you're still here, Calvin? Anybody see the same? Okay, so instead of taking notes or highlighting, I think visualizing is a lot more powerful. So the time or energy that you would invest in highlighting or trying to take notes, if you invest that same energy and attention into visually seeing the information, then you're going to do a lot better. Okay, the brain is visual. Primarily it's visual, not tactile, not auditory. Tatiana says, I'm the novice. Okay, well, hope we get along, Tatiana. I don't want to squeeze you to death. Okay, Amrinder says it's exactly what I saw. All right, Amrinder, you're my fellow man of war, right? There we go. Guyber says, yep, thumbs up. All right, Mal says, yep, I'm here and I see something similar. Okay, all right. Tina is already at war with the Nomvias. Okay, well, maybe we'll find something out, something similar. All right, good. Members, great. That's good. You're seeing it, okay? And when you're seeing information, you're enjoying information. And guess what happens when you enjoy information? Your brain digests it. It holds it. It says, okay, I like this. This isn't just some boring science jargon. I love it. It's good. It's fun, okay? All right. All right, Tatiana says, I'm resistant to your venom, though. Keep that in mind. All right, Tatiana. Very true. All right, so here we go. So keep seeing, keep thinking, all right? I'm going to do this. You do this. I'll do a little summary at the end. This is a great exercise, by the way, when you're practicing IELTS, when you're practicing active reading, is just write down what you see, okay? So here we go, everyone. The physiology of Physalia physalis is unique. At first glance, they appear to be jellyfish, but the Portuguese man of war is actually a polyp or a community of polyps belonging to the order Siphonophora, which gets its common name from its resemblance to an old Portuguese warship. The man of war floats with a gas-filled blue to pink translucent body called a pneumatophore, a part of a single polyp. This crest-like pneumatophore, which may attain a length of 20 centimeters, acts as a sail and is aligned so that the colony sails at 45 degrees to the wind direction. Polyps connect tentacles, which are located at the ventral surface of the float. There are 3 types of specialized polyps: dactylozoids that find and catch prey with poisonous stingers called nematocysts, gonozoids that reproduce, and gastrozoids that digest food like a stomach. These fishing tentacles, sometimes as long as 50 meters, hang down like a drift net, combing the water for prey. So I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was Baljeet says, I think it's a carnivore. It eats other animals. I think you're right. Seems like it. So this paragraph is explaining what I look like and my different parts. And it turns out I'm not just one organism, but I'm many organisms kind of linked together. So here I have the picture again, and now I can see that, okay, I've got this kind of bubble creature on my head that's keeping me afloat. I've got tentacles that gather food, and then I've got my other type of organism that's like a stomach that's eating whatever my tentacles can get. Okay, so I'm like this chimera, if you will, that combs the water with these long tentacles. So I see myself looking in a mirror and getting the reflection of a warship with killer long tentacles, a special stomach, and an awesome sail, each a unique organism. All right, so that's what I see. I'm looking at the mirror in this Portuguese man of war, and I'm like, hello, beautiful. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. So Nomvias grombi are tropical fish belonging to the ray fin fishes of the class Osteichthyes. The fins, supported by long, flexible rays, are modified for maneuvering, defense, and other functions. The length of this fish at maturity is about 8 centimeters. The nature of the ability of Nomvias to live among the venomous tentacles of Physalia has been likened to that of the relationship between sea anemones and anemone fishes. This immunity is not yet fully understood. Okay, so there's that little fish looking all tropical and always hanging around. Okay, so that's what I see. All right, and you might think that's oversimplification, but it's really not. All right, that's all you need to do. Okay, the relationship between Physalia and Nombius is arguably harmful to both organisms. They mutually benefit from one another, but at the same time, the symbiosis can be quite damaging to both creatures. In this sense, the relationship could be better defined as one of mutualism and parasitism. In mutualism, both organisms benefit. In parasitism, one organism benefits at the expense of the host. So what do I see? Okay. Unlike the husband of this fish, sometimes we are all lovey-dovey. I think it's spelled like that, lovey-dovey. And at other times, we are at each other's throats. I'm also teaching you some expressions here, students, so keep that in mind. Yeah, you know, it's like a marriage, right? We benefit, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're hugging it out. Sometimes we're having a good old-fashioned spousal dispute. That's life, right? I can see this. So I can see this fish. It's like, you know, we're married. Okay. Yeah, sometimes we're all lovey-dovey. Lovey-dovey means we're on good terms. And at other times we're at each other's throats. Okay. All right. Visualization, very powerful, students. Here we go. Let's keep going before somebody says, hey, Adrian, come on. I'm always lovey-dovey with my partner. Okay, so here we go. When the Nombius is weak, it may no longer be able to withstand the venom of the nematocysts. In one study, a freshly expired Nombius was offered to the Physalia. The carcass was immediately stung, taken hold of by a dactylozoid, and brought up to the gastrozoids. The Nombius, although resilient to the toxin, is not 100% immune. In the same study, the live Nombius began to swim more erratically and moved towards the carcass as the gastrozoids formed their characteristic bag and began to digest the fish. The live Nombius was then caught on the left side by one of the largest dactylozoids. This behavior clearly indicates how the symbiosis may deviate from the definition provided by Commensalism. Okay, so I've had enough of this old fish. I'm now going to sting it and eat it. And boy, am I glad my wife is not watching this class. I don't think she is at this point, because we might be going for that non-lovey-dovey after this. No, I'm sure she'd get a good laugh about it. She has a good sense of humor. All right, so I've had enough of this old fish. I'm now going to sting it and eat it. All right. And it's an experiment, and it's proven that's what happens. Okay. All right. So Paulo says it's a trap, Nombius. Run away. It can be, especially if you don't have the energy left, right? Okay, here we go. So, on the other hand, the Nombius has two distinct gains from its innate behavior with Physalia. As an experiment demonstrated, upon introduction, the Nombius initially swam near the surface and around the Physalia in a large circular pattern in both clockwise and counterclockwise directions. This action protects the fish from attack. Most predatory fishes of Nombius therefore avoid the man-of-war or sustain serious injury and often death. Second, the Physalia provides a food source for Nombius. In the mentioned experiment, about 15 minutes after the release, the Nombius swam closer to the Physalia, paused as if inspecting it, and then began to nip the edges of the gonozoids. Physalia is able to regenerate the tentacles, and so this ingestion is rarely fatal to the organism. Okay, so oops. I was not able to eat the little fish. So now it is eating me and using me for protection. Oh well. I suppose that's the way it goes. Now I'm not just feeling this, students. So you're thinking, well, it's kind of like a drama, maybe an Italian soap opera in the ocean. But no, it's not. I'm actually seeing this. Okay, so I am visualizing this as I write this. All right. Laura says kind of like the Black Widow. Yeah, Laura, exactly. Except instead of the male Black Widow spider, we're thinking about a fish, right? But that's a fair comparison. I think if you're visualizing that, Laura, and you're drawing that comparison, it's kind of the same. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. So Nombius's capacity to survive near the poisonous tentacles of the manivore is only partly due to the resilience of the toxin. The main reason for this skill is certain swimming behaviors. Instead of developing protective mucus, the fish depends on its swimming abilities as its main mechanism of defense while living in the venomous discharge of the Physalia. The Nombius fish can maneuver with precision to avoid stinging nematocysts. This is the case whether the Physalia is stationary or in motion. Ray fin fishes have a physiology which enables maneuverability. The fish displays relative ease in maintaining a safe distance from the dactylozoids, even with absurd, sharp changes in direction. Nombius specimens use the pectoral fins for propulsion, while the pelvic fins are spread like a fan. The caudal fin is apparently used for only short, fast darts. This swimming behavior appears to be well suited for existence with Physalia. It is therefore apparent that rather than developing an ability to inhabit the discharge of Physalia nematocysts or prevent them from stinging, Nombius uses its swimming abilities as its primary means of defense while living in the venomous net of Physalia. So now, I'm looking at this little fish. Wow, can this fish ever swim? It is elegantly maneuvering through my tentacles and avoiding my poison. What a magnificent little fish. Okay. All right. Let's make that there we go. So continuously, right? Every paragraph, I don't stop that visualization. Okay. Yeah, Paulo, I realize that I'm doing that as much as I can, right? I'm paying attention to all of these elements. Okay, one more paragraph. Here we go. Taking into consideration all of the interactions involved in this symbiotic relationship of these two organisms, the appropriate term to assign is difficult. The facts state that commensalism of these two aquatic creatures is one which incorporates beneficial as well as harmful factors depending on the circumstance. In this alternation of prey-predator roles of Physalia and Nombius, that creates a definitive difficulty, perhaps the best term we can apply for the moment is that of commensalism, given that both animals receive some benefit at varying times during the relationship. Okay, so this prey-predator role, reversal, alternation, right? It's a good way to kind of summarize all of this, right? So we laugh together, we cry together. At the end of it, we survive and have fun. I'm just adding that have fun part myself. But anyway, we survive. So that's how we do it, okay? And I'll scroll up here, all right? Sorry. By the way, students, if you're having, because I'm trying to pay attention to everything, but if you have access to our premium package, or if you're a level 2 member or higher, then you should have access to all of this reading, okay? So keep that in mind. All right. So let's try to answer some questions now, because we've done a great job of visualizing. We should be able to answer a lot of these questions. So let's fill in these blanks. See if we can do this without having to skim, scan, jump around in the article. Yeah, maneuver, Tatiana, means to move with precision and skill to avoid obstacles, usually. Okay. All right, or challenges. So here we go. The Portuguese man-of-war's something acts as both defense and attack mechanism. What is it? So let's keep it simple. What does the man-of-war, what do I use to defend myself and to attack my prey? Okay. Arda says tentacles. Okay, that's one answer. I don't know if I agree with you, Arda. Remember, I have different kinds of tentacles, so we want to be more specific here. Tina says tentacles as well. Okay, you can put that in. So tentacles. Calvin says tentacle. Be careful though, is it really the tentacle that I'm using? It's not actually the tentacle itself that I'm using, right? For defense and attack. What am I actually using? Okay, so think critically. Tatiana says it's the poison. Which is the better answer, tentacle or poison? Am I using the tentacle as defense and attack, or am I using the poison as defense and attack? Which is the better answer? In the IELTS, you must pick the best answer. Okay, this is reading passage 3, so be careful. Okay, Laura says, I think poison is better. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, imagine I'm a soldier, I have a sword, right? I'm using it for defense and attack. What am I using for defense and attack? My arm or the sword? I'm using the sword, right? It's the same thing for the Portuguese man-of-war. Yes, the venom is coming from the tentacles, but the actual mechanism that's being used is the poison. It's not the tentacle itself. Also, it has tentacles that are used for digesting, not just not attack, right? So you have to be careful, right? Okay, so poison is the best answer here. Okay, you're looking for that best answer. So always completely think about it, right? Okay, Nombius has a something to the man-of-war's attack. What does the Nombius have to the man-of-war's attack? Calvin says, aha, or ah, yeah. Arda says, Okay, so the Nombius has, so when you read the passage and you've done good visualization, you should be pretty quick. Tatiana says it's resilience. Tatiana, very clever. Yeah, it's resistance or resilience. Mal, it's not immunity. Why is it not immunity? because it's not 100% immune. Okay, so resilience is the better word. Again, students, remember this is passage 3. You have to really think and rethink your answer. Okay. Okay, Calvin says it's not a un. Yeah, exactly. Calvin's making a good point. It can't be immunity because there's no an here, right? I is a vowel, so it would have to be an immunity. It's a resilience. Yeah, very good catch by Calvin. It has to make sense grammatically, right? So it wouldn't be grammatically correct because it can't be has a immunity. It'd be an immunity. Very good. Good catch, Calvin. Nice. Okay. Number 29. Okay. Paulo, if you're having trouble with the vocabulary, think about where you visualized it, right? So we're probably still in the beginning here. This is the start here. So, you know, if you have to, you can go back and look for where this might have been mentioned. So I remember in the first part here, so the non-venous gromma is capable of withstanding injections of physalia 10 times that which kills other fishes. Due to this resistance, right? There it is, due to this resistance. Okay, so if you have to, Paulo, you can check. You should remember where it is through visualization. Okay. All right, non-venous is also a very competent something which helps keep it safe from the man-o-war. Yeah, so the correct word is not resilience, is resistance. Correction there, yep. Okay. All right. Non-venous is also a very competent swimmer. Very good, very nice, students. So swimmer. Okay, let's keep it going. So I want to show you that you can do this with quite a bit of speed and accuracy as long as you've done a good job in the reading. So although they initially look like a jellyfish, the man-o-war is really what? It's not a jellyfish. It tells us that it's really a different kind of creature that's very close to a jellyfish, but it's not a jellyfish. And they mention it a couple of different times. What was it? And I'm glad everybody got. Arta says it's a communal polyp or polyp. Can we have two words here? Yeah, we could. So Arta, you could say communal polyp or polyp. Yeah. Okay. If you wrote communal polyp, Arta, you would get that right because that is accurate. It is a communal polyp. Okay. Okay, number 31, the role of the something is as a sexual organ. Now, I can't remember this, but I do remember that this is in the paragraph that's describing the physiology of the animal, which is paragraph 2 or 3, right? So let me go back here. There's paragraph 1 and then paragraph 2, the physiology is unique, right? So now I remember it said that near the end that I have these 3 different parts. So dactylozoid that find and catch prey, gonozoid that reproduce. Okay. So gonozoid that reproduce meaning replicate, right? So it's the sexual organ. That's the first word that I would probably search for. Okay. So there we go. That's the correct word. Okay. And I can quickly locate that because I visualized the whole passage. I remember where certain information is contained, right? Non-venous ability to live around the poisonous something of the man-o-war is not fully understood. All right, what's the correct answer here, students? So poisonous what? So Nombius, the fish, ability, able to live around the poisonous something of the manivore is not fully understood. So what is it living around? The poisonous what? Let's see if you can pick that out. Okay. Yeah, Laura says this is where we want to say tentacles, right? Because you have the adjective poisonous, and then you have the correct word tentacles. Paulo says tentacles. Okay, now notice here, students, that when you have tentacles here, if you had written tentacles in the beginning here, so if you wrote tentacles here, okay, for this type of question, you are not going to have the same answer for two questions, okay? So right away, if you realize, oh, that's tentacles, so this has to be something else, then you realize it's poison. So an important tip is keep the other questions in mind, okay? So keep other questions in mind to help you make sure you are answering correctly. Okay, so that's an important tip. Don't forget the other questions and answers that you've come across or that you've dealt with, because once you realize that, okay, this one's tentacles, then you realize that this one, there's something off here. It should be maybe something else. Okay, all right, so keep that in mind. Okay. All right, students. So here we have these questions to complete these statements. I'm not going to rush through these. I'm going to give you a chance and give our viewers a chance to do this for homework. Okay, so the rest of these questions, 33 to 40, please do it over the weekend. I'll be back on Wednesday. Well, we have one more class today, but that's going to be speaking. So try out these questions on your own. There's a few more here, the multiple choice. Again, you can see these in the premium course, in the full course on our website. You have a couple of yes, no, not given. We've done a lot of yes, no, not given strategy in the past couple of weeks. So if you forgot, check that out either in your course or on the YouTube channel. Okay. And remember, students, to visit our websites. This is our general IELTS website here with the green background. And all you need to do is click this big red button to join the premium package. You can use the discount code IScore9, which is valid still today. It's the last day for this code, okay? Academic IELTS, the same idea. Blue background. And again, click that big red button right there and get all of our practice exams, lesson videos, interactive courses, full app for your phone. Again, you can use that discount code there. It's the last day to do it, so I highly, highly recommend it. Members, thank you so much for your support and for hanging out with me. Viewers out there, thank you for watching. Even though you couldn't comment, you can comment in the next class. Everybody's welcome to. In fact, we'll actually be speaking to each other in the next class. So again, use this discount code. Last day, 25% off, IScore9. That's it for this class, but I'm back in 30 minutes, everyone, with speaking part 3, which will be a continuation of the part 2 cue card that we did yesterday. Okay? All right, you're very welcome, Rashika, Andre, Tatiana. You're welcome for the images. Me, and this is test. Yeah, it's in book 1, me, and it's test 3. Absolutely, passage 3. Yes. Okay. So check it out. You'll find it in there. Okay. And I will transmutate back into a human being from a jellyfish, Tatiana. All right, students. See you in half an hour. I'm Adrian. Bye for now.